Hey everybody, welcome back to Sounds Like a Drum, Cadence independent media production. Today, we are putting a fork in a thing that a lot of people have been talking about on here, whether or not traditional grip and matched grip sound different. Really? If you've been with us for any amount of time, you know that I play traditional grip on pretty much everything that we do on this channel. It's the grip I've been using for over 20 years, and it does everything I need it to do. So as far as grips go, that's everything you need to know about me. I like how it feels. I like how it sounds. I'm not missing anything by not playing matched grip on anything that we do here. Now, grip is a personal choice. Let's stop thinking that it's not. Now let's set that aside. Forget about that for a minute and just talk about the idea that there is a sound difference here that we should be concerned about. I'm going to play two rim shots for you right now. One is traditional, one is matched. Let's see if we can hear a difference. I definitely can't hear a difference that would matter in any meaningful way in a musical context, beyond the fact that every rim shot sounds minusculely different than every other rim shot. The underneath of this is that when you see a drummer playing, there is a lot that goes into the psychoacoustic experience of what you're seeing. And if you have an association with a certain grip meaning something, then suddenly we start to hear things that aren't actually there. We have gotten a bananas amount of comments about the fact that I use this grip and that we should be demoing things, particularly in snare spotlight videos, with matched grip, setting aside the fact that we always do single hits on every drum right-handed with what amounts to matched grip. This to me means that there is a community out there, or a lot of people who are concerned about this and feel that this is that's a sonic choice and that it has to do with a lot more than just the physical manner in which you're hitting the drum. Now, there are a couple of things that exist in using traditional grip versus matched grip that are worth noting, which is that, for instance, it's very easy to tip the angle of attack of the left hand stick when you hold a traditional versus if you're holding it in a matched grip. This has nothing to do with it being traditional grip, it just has to do with changing the angle of striking the drum in the same way that we've talked about a lot with changing the angle of striking the ride cymbal with matched grip. If you get up on the tip versus hitting with the flat, you do get a different sort of sound. The largest variable in this angle of attack issue is the tip of your stick. That is to say, what is the shape of that tip? Because as we change the angle of attack, we're changing the amount of surface area that's striking the cymbal, depending on the design of the tip. We're also changing how the weight of the stick attacks whatever you're hitting. This gives us a much larger change in tone than what grip we happen to be using at the time. So if we're going to get concerned about the grip, we should be at least, if not more so, concerned about the stick tip choice. Now, from a stylistic standpoint, some people think that you can't hit a drum as hard with traditional grip as you can with matched grip. Let's talk about Stuart Copeland. Let's talk about Virgil Donati. Let's talk about Matt Chamberlain. Let's talk about Aaron Comes. These guys sometimes hit unbelievably hard. Raise your hand at home if anyone's ever told you to play harder than you're playing. If that's happened to you, you are in the minority, because 9 times out of 10, we are trying to manage volume, not get the threshold higher. On the flip side, amazing jazz drummers that come to mind who played matched grip. Well, Bill Stewart, shining example. Mark Ferber, amazing, strictly matched grip player. Tony Williams moved between traditional and matched grip based on how he was feeling, the attitude of the music that he was playing. Nate Smith, another example, excellent in both grips. Could be about a sound thing, mostly about a feel thing because it's how you're hitting the drum. It's a physical experience. It's an attitude. I agree with that attitude thing completely, but it's not a sound thing. It's about how you feel while you're playing, and that's all the more reason to experiment with grips. Probably the biggest red flag for us that this is not a thing we need to be worried about is the simple fact that we play hand-to-hand on the kit all the time, whether it's rudimentally, just simple 8th or 16th note fills, beats on the hi-hat. If there's an intrinsic difference between matched grip and traditional grip, we shouldn't be able to do that. It should be problematic. We should be hearing a difference all the time. Now let's do a straight-up comparison. Let's just play a little bit of hand-to-hand on the snare and the rack tom. If there's something intrinsically different in sound between traditional grip and matched grip, I shouldn't be able to do this. I shouldn't be able to just play an even sounding roll hand to hand, because if there was something different, that would theoretically be insurmountable. But through practicing and evening out your hands, whatever grip you choose to use is going to end up even if that's what you're working on. So it doesn't get any clearer than this. We do hand-to-hand stuff in rudimental playing, in drum set playing, fills, beats. It's there all the time. So there you go. This is not to say that there aren't players out there who we love and admire who have maybe had an injury or played for years and years with poor technique and switched from traditional to matched. That exists out there. That can exist in a lot of cases, like for me, where I had an injury and moved to traditional and then stuck with that forever. As long as it's working for you and not hurting you, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. But the idea that you look at someone and then judge their capability based solely on a silent viewing of the way that they move, it's just doesn't make any sense. Let's, for argument's sake, get in the weeds a little bit and say that what if there is a difference? Unless you're alternating between traditional backbeats and matched backbeats, if you're playing them all with the same grip for the duration of a song, no one's going to know. You're not going to know. It doesn't really matter. It's no different than mismatched drum heads on a kit or anything else that would only be a cue if you saw it. The underlying thing is, if the sound you're making is making you happy and working for the musical context, it does not matter what you do. Right down to how much footage I've seen of Steve Gadd playing with his sticks backwards. Like, I would never have known he was doing that until I saw it. I mean, even playing like difficult rudimental stuff with his sticks turned around. That's proof positive to me that I need to not care about that. I need to just be amazed at the performance and leave it alone. The bottom line with this is that without a reference point that you're comparing it to, there's no way to make some kind of value judgment about this sound. It's simply not available. That is something that I think comes up for a lot of people when they're listening to a drummer they love and feel like they need to do what that drummer's doing. And the fact of the matter is, if you want to sound like that drummer, you need to be them. It's not about playing matched instead of traditional or putting a different head on your snare drum. If you're not them, you're never going to sound just like them. You're going to sound like you trying to sound like them. And if we love a drummer that much, what we really are looking for is, what are they doing that makes us happy? What do we love about this? Fold that into our own playing instead of being worried about whether or not we're making the exact same sound that they're making and what that's even made of. Our hope with this is to start a conversation where we can begin to understand that if we are getting hung up on the manner in which other people are creating their art rather than focusing on the art that they're making, and if we're getting dogmatic in our thinking and saying that my way is the right way, my way is the only way, and going in hard on anybody who disagrees with that, we are losing sight of the goal here, which is to create and appreciate other people's creations as well. So this is means to an end. Technique is means to an end. The drums you own, they're means to an end. And that end is creativity. So please, 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 let's set some of these things aside and move toward focusing on being creative instead. All right, thanks so much for coming with us on this journey today. Please follow the link below to the Patreon. It's the best way to help us continue to get to do this. Lots of extra content over there. Go check it out. Lots of fun stuff. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And please tell us your stories about grip. I know this is going to be a rabbit hole, but if you are really into only one, if you move between them and have your reasons for that, we'd really like to know. And especially if you do experience something that you consider to be a sound difference that is only in one or the other, tell us all about it.